you're very well equipped.
Appointed by some people who's the chair and the founder of the whole trust, without whom we wouldn't be here. And the professor.
I see. Yes.
She lived till 29.
Yes. And you've done it terribly quickly, which is very clever.
I think everybody's been very kind.
Your Royal Highness, Lord Lieutenant, Mayor, Vice Chancellor, Your Excellencies, Lords, ladies, and very, very distinguished guests, welcome to Gordon Square. 69 years ago, a young woman walked out of a house on Taverton Street, just behind the square. She said goodbye to her mother and her sister, unable to tell them that she may never see them again. Noor Inayat Khan would become the first woman radio operator to be dropped behind enemy lines. She would pay the ultimate price for her bravery. Today, in the presence of Your Royal Highness, we have filled the square to remember a heroine of the war, a young woman of Indian origin who unhesitatingly gave her life in the fight against fascism. Noor had a very exotic background. She was born in Moscow to an Indian father and an American mother. She was brought up in London and Paris. She was proud of her Indian heritage, but she was equally proud of being British, and she felt very French as well. She wanted to be a citizen of the world and build bridges between nations. In keeping with her spirit, this campaign for this memorial has had international support. Today we have guests here from India, USA, France, Holland, Germany, and Russia. We are delighted to have Noor's family here from Holland and the US. We are also privileged to have Noor's colleagues here from the WAF and from the SOE. We have veterans who have traveled from France and RAF pilots who flew the agents on their dangerous missions. It is the highest tribute to Noor from her colleagues. This unveiling today is the end of a long journey with Noor, and I would like to thank everyone who walked this path with me. Thank you for bringing Noor back to Gordon Square. Your Highness, this year we enjoyed a wonderful summer of sport. The world watched as London celebrated its rich multicultural heritage. Now as the leaves fall in autumn and we observe Remembrance Week, the world will watch again as we remember the bravery of all those who died in the war and those who have no known graves. Noor represents not only the brave men and women of the SOE, but also the 2.5 million Indian soldiers who volunteered for the Second World War. Noor's last words were liberté. In these troubled times, I think it is important that her principles and her sacrifice are not forgotten by the next generation. So without any further ado, I would like to invite Her Royal Highness for the moment we have all been waiting for, to unveil the statue of Noor Inayat Khan. Thank you.
remiss of me not to say a big thank you, particularly to Tara Kutter for all the efforts that she's made to bring this about, but to all the supporters who have very readily and very quickly responded to the concept of a sculpture, and particularly, I think, to London University too, for joining that this is the appropriate place, and to support that as well. Stories like yours of the Spy Princess are very remarkable stories in their own right, but they do have a real connection to be made in our modern era. And to have this representation here reminds us of a lot more than just that. As you say, the multicultural aspect, the international aspect of her life and her sacrifice. So thank you all very much indeed for all that hard work, and reflected in the success today of this unveiling. But I hope too it will remind people and get many more people to ask the question who she was, why she's here, and what we could achieve in her memory. So thank you.
Noor wrote stories for children, and this is The Lamp of Joy by Noor Inayat Khan, age 14. A mermaid once went in a ship upon the stormy sea, and as she sailed along the waves, arose and sprung in glee. For on the ship she hung a lamp, which gave a light so sweet, that anyone who saw its glow with joy was sure to meet.
At thy feet, O Matsu, I come to seek for rest. In the air of thy glance, may this yearning soul be blessed.
Family, I'd like to thank all of you for coming today. It's a great honor. So I'm going to read a little message from my grandfather. Your Royal Highness, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to have the privilege of expressing my deepest appreciation to the Princess for her most gracious presence at this historic event. Many heartiest thanks also to Mrs. Shobrani Basu for her tremendous efforts made in the view of the creation of this statue, which is a symbolic reminder of the passionate call for liberty pronounced by Noor Inayat, who sacrificed her young life for the great cause of freedom. May the inhuman suffering of all those who, like my dear sister, have perished under the brutal cruelty of the oppressor not be in vain. Let us keep at heart the great ideal of harmony, which is so much needed in this troubled world today, where the concept of human rights has not yet been understood by all as being the only truest guarantee for an everlasting peace among nations. May the loving sympathy of all those present reach onwards as an example of appreciation for the sacrifices offered by all the heroic souls whose memories should never be forgotten. May I sincerely apologize for not being here with you today at this special occasion. But due to my old age, my heart is with you all, and I do hope that you feel from these words my gratitude and my emotions. May I invite you to be upstanding, please. Thank you.